under the pale moonlight. Vinny and Phil bring the shadows to life. Tales of the ghostly whispers in the night. Bigfoot and aliens ready for the strife. The darkness thickens, the air is cold. Haunting stories waiting to unfold. Supernatural Sundays, the veil is thin. Join us in the chaos, let the night begin. With every whisper and each chilling tale, dare to believe where shadows prevail. EVPs echo through the haunted trees. Demons lurk as the chill hits with ease. But the caps rolling with guests to amaze. Cryptids and spirits were lost in the haze. Northmen in the foliage, watch your back. Dogmen prowling, ready to attack. Supernatural Sundays, the veil is thin. Join us in the chaos, let the night begin. With every whisper and each chilling tale, dare to believe where shadows prevail. Moving in the foliage, watch your back. Through the prowling, ready to attack. Supernatural Sundays, the veil is thin. Join us in the chaos, let the night begin. With every whisper and each chilling tale, dare to believe where shadows prevail. So tune in next week, fear in your soul. Darkness awaits, let the stories unfold.
Welcome to the March 1st Supernatural Sundays. We got all kind of new exciting stuff this week in the news. Tonight is March 1st. Tomorrow will be between March 2nd and March 3rd. The night of March 2nd, going into March 3rd, will be the only opportunity this year you'll get to see a full lunar eclipse. Also, they usually call it a blood moon. I think it happens in the fall. But anyway, Monday night, around 11, you should be able to see the eclipse. If you're using an iPhone, turn your you hit the screen and there's like a little sun comes up. Dial that down to about as far as you can go. on an iPhone, especially the newer ones. They have such a high intense low light setting that they will wash out any kind of moon. It'll just look like the sun. And Android, you're good to go, but the iPhones turn that down. Unless you're one of these astronomer guys that has the real fancy camera rig and the telescope. If you do, feel free to send in some pics. We'd love to see those. So that's going to happen tomorrow night if you're into celestial type stuff. A lot of different things in the news talking about prophecies, whatnot. I got some stuff here toward the end of the show. I want to talk about over in the Middle East. We just started having a military action over there. Prayers go out to all the military soldiers, families, everybody that's over there. All the innocent people caught in the crossfire, collateral damage. So hope we'll get it over with soon. We got some cryptid stuff this week. Some paranormal stuff. We're gonna finish off with the biblical prophecy UFO stuff going on with the Middle East. Got some new friends this week. Picked these guys up Saturday night up at the Brownsville auction up there in Edmonson County. We got a little Amish couple here. I think his name's Adam. I'm not sure what her name is. I might have to give her a cool name. And then we've got Addie over here. We're going to try her one more week since she let off the cat. We had the cat balls go off a couple times, but nothing the last time. So we're going to give her one more chance to redeem herself. I've got some cat balls. I'm going to hit one, make it go off. I've got some cat balls over here. Each one of these dolls. A lot of people think dolls have attachments to them, and I've been putting them up here on the podcast live just to determine either way if there's anything going on with the dolls. I think I've tried about 25 different dolls. If I get one that routinely, repeatedly sets off equipment, then there may be something going on with that doll. As far as I know, they don't have anything in them that emits EMF or would set off the cat ball. So, all right, well, let's get into the news this week. Hope you're all ready for that. I'm going to start off one of my favorite topics, Bigfoot. Love my cryptids. We're hoping to go out and it's getting warmer now, so hopefully it'll stay warm. We're going to go out and on some expeditions. Maybe even do some lives. This one was a guy hunting in Arizona, and he thinks this thing was stalking him, and he actually got some video of it. Check this out. Well, maybe that one don't have any sound. Try it one more time. Hopefully it's just that video. If all my videos don't have sound, this is going to be a quick show. This one here is just supposed to be like a Sasquatch family just walking down the creek bank. Here we go.
Caught in the Catskill Mountains.
Go for it. Nice throw. Hold on. Wait, rewind that.
Throw that up one more time. It's just kids out throwing rocks, and the whole Bigfoot family just kind of like nonchalantly walking along, like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like, no big deal.
Caught in the Catskill Mountains.
Go for it. Nice throw. Hold on. Wait, rewind that.
if that was Photoshop put together or what, but the little girl looked like she saw him. Imagine be out fishing and this family of Bigfoots just come walking along like, no big deal. Maybe someday. I'm not sure if any of you guys have ever heard of the Nephilim. It's supposedly a giant race of like humanoids, like giant people, so to speak. And it goes back to a biblical story where supposedly like angels had relations with humans and their offspring were these Nephilim. And they found, I've never seen any evidence, but there's supposed evidence. They found some stuff in some caves in Kentucky, out west, and on some different islands. There's been some other crazy stories out of Afghanistan that some soldiers encountered one of these things in a cave, like they're supposedly still around. I don't know if there's any truth to any of it, if it's just a story, but it's mentioned in some Bible stories. So this one actually refers to some female Nephilim. They've also been known to have red hair and be really tall. Like some people think it could be what they're mistaken Bigfoots for, but Bigfoots are like completely covered with hair. These things look more like people. So anyway, let's check out the female Nephilim.
We know that the sons of God, which were male, took the daughters of them to wives, and they had children, which were the Nephilim. There's nothing that says that all of them were male babies. Some of them could have been female Nephilim as well. Yeah. And therefore, had they been killed in the flood too, along with all humanity, wouldn't those be female disembodied spirits that could be succubus or hags or whatever, that are now in avatars of some form?
Old girl had some horns on her. That one did. Kind of remind me of a goat woman. We got Goat Man up here at Public Trestle up by Louisville. If we got Goat Man, why can't we have Goat Woman? Could be one of those female Nephilims. This here, this is supposedly a legit video. It's kind of hard to tell if this thing is a Bigfoot or some kind of entity, but it's definitely playing peekaboo peepie behind a tree here. So check this thing out. I thought this was pretty intriguing. I was thinking that was just a shadow till it took off. I don't know. I couldn't make out any features like a Bigfoot or anything. And to me, it looked more like a shadow entity, like a shadow man, shadow person, shadow creature, whatever that was. Definitely some kind of shadow creature. This one here, I don't know if this is made up or what. It kind of gives me some Mothman vibes since we're talking about cryptids. And if this is a bird or some kind of kite or some kind of Halloween decoration, but it's kind of cool looking.
Oh, what is that? A guy named Shan Man on here caught this in Laredo, Texas on a trail cam. Prepare yourself. I don't know how they would have faked this because this thing is floating unless this was edited in, but you can see that the artifacting looks very similar to the artifacting in the rest of the photo. It doesn't look like it was edited. You can see this thing has black wings and what looks like goat hooves. So is this a fallen angel? Let's take a look at its face. Now, I just want to be straight with you guys. This is not a joke video. Like, I'm not making this as a joke. This is horrifying. And it kind of looks Egyptian in a way, don't you think? for some reason. It's almost like this thing has been here for a very, very long time. Like it was awoken from a tomb. So what do you think it is? Share it with your friends and like and follow for more videos like this one.
Shout out to Wiegand and Sean Mann putting that up on the TikTok. I think it's a bird. I think somebody got a picture of a bird, like when birds fly, and then when they bring their wings in and kind of like dive and coast, they got that picture just at that split second that the bird's coming over. The face, I think, is just a bird. That, it's kind of hard to see its beak and all that with it flying and moving and taking a picture from underneath. It could be some kind of creature. I don't know. What do you guys think? Feel free to call in. I'll put the caller number up there if anybody wants to call in or send us a comment. Let us know if we think that's a creature or if that's a bird. I think it's a bird. As technology gets out there and people get less scared and shaky, we're getting better Bigfoot pictures. Or either that or they're getting better at faking them with AI. But this one here is pretty clear. Let's go with the clear, and then I've got one that's super clear.
On August 18, 2016, something began stalking Dr. Melissa Hartwell through California's Marble Mountain Wilderness, leading to the most significant Bigfoot encounter ever documented on camera. The wildlife ecologist had come to study black bears in the remote forest, but what she found would challenge everything science understood about Bigfoot. Dr. Hartwell had established her research camp 8 miles from the nearest trailhead and terrain. Her equipment setup included 12 Milidar Ryra trail cameras positioned throughout a 2-square-mile area, each capable of detecting heat signatures from over 100 yards away. The location was chosen specifically for its isolation from human activity, providing perfect conditions for observing natural wildlife behavior without interference. What she didn't realize was that her presence had already been detected by something. Bigfoot's first contact was a vocalization. The sound erupted from the darkness surrounding her camp on the evening of August 18th, a low guttural call that seemed to originate from multiple directions simultaneously. The vocalization lasted 8 seconds and exhibited a resonant quality that suggested vocal folds far larger than those of any documented mammal. What made the sound truly disturbing was its conversational tone, as if the creature were announcing its presence somehow. Bigfoot wasn't simply marking territory or expressing aggression. It was communicating with intelligence that approached human levels while remaining distinctly non-human in its execution. The forest fell completely silent after the call, but this was just for a while. Audio analysis would later reveal that Bigfoot's vocalizations contained frequencies that could travel for miles through mountain terrain, allowing communication across vast distances without alerting prey species to the creature's exact location. The creature's first physical evidence appeared the following morning in the form of massive footprints circling Dr. Hartwell's campsite. The tracks measured 17 in long and 7 in wide, showing anatomical details that placed them outside any known species classification. 5 distinct toe impressions were visible, including what appeared to be an opposable thumb. While the depth of the print suggested something weighing at least 600 lb had made them during the night, Bigfoot's foot structure revealed adaptations that were perfectly suited for life in dense forest environments. Most significantly, the dermal ridges visible in the clearest prints showed characteristics that were neither human nor ape, but something entirely unique. Bigfoot had approached Dr. Hartwell's camp from multiple angles, studying her setup and identifying potential escape routes while maintaining perfect stealth. The track showed it had come within 15 ft of her tent, close enough to observe her sleeping form through the fabric before retreating into the forest without making a sound that might wake her. The creature's approach pattern.
Wow. So thanks for Dr. Hartwell, that little video they put out there. The fact that it had 5 toes and a thumb, to me sounds more ape-like, like a ape. Their footprints actually look like kind of like big handprints. So I don't know. That's pretty cool. You guys ready to see a super clear Bigfoot picture? Here we go. We went from clear to now we're going to go to super clear. In focus. Here we go.
On May 18, 2025, a trail camera in the Michigan wilderness recorded 10 seconds of footage that should not exist. A massive creature stands among the trees, staring directly into the lens with calm, deliberate intelligence. Then it turns and disappears into the shadows like it has done this 1,000 times before. The person who posted it to Reddit begged strangers for help, for anyone to tell them what they were looking at. Within 48 hours, they vanished from the internet entirely, and the footage they left behind is now the clearest alleged Bigfoot recording ever captured on camera. 10 seconds in the Michigan wilderness. The trail camera is mounted on a tree angled slightly downward to capture whatever passes through a game trail. The time stamp burned into the corner reads May 18, 2025, early afternoon. Sunlight filters through the canopy, creating that dappled pattern you get in thick deciduous forest in late spring. And there in the middle distance, roughly 30 ft from the lens, stands a massive dark figure partially obscured by vegetation. The brain fights it at first. Tree stump, shadow, trick of light and leaves, but tree stumps don't have shoulders. Shadows don't shift their weight from one leg to the other. The creature has dark brown or black fur, almost charcoal in the shadows with lighter brown tones where sunlight catches it. The fur is dense and shaggy, hanging in matted clumps, and underneath it, musculature is visible. The way the fur ripples over the shoulders and chest suggests enormous physical power packed into a frame that dwarfs any human being. The proportions are wrong for a person. The torso is too wide, the arms too long, the head set too far forward on a neck thick as a tree trunk. And then there is the face. Even through the intervening vegetation, even with the slight graininess inherent to trail camera sensors, features are clearly visible. The eyes are dark and deep set under a prominent brow ridge. The nose is broad and flat. The facial structure sits somewhere between ape and human but matches neither. It is looking directly at the camera, not past it. Not vaguely in the camera's direction, straight into the lens, the way a person looks into a mirror. The expression carries no aggression, no fear, no surprise, just calm assessment, the look of an intelligence evaluating something it has seen before and decided is not a threat. The head tilts slightly as if studying the camera.
Thanks for that, user 3852 post that was actually brought over from Reddit. Pretty clear picture. It looked a lot like an ape to me. Yeah, pretty crazy. That was the clearest Bigfoot video I had this week. They're having some activity down in Oklahoma, and I'd like to go ahead and post this. Guy was doing a little clip about this Oklahoma Bigfoot.
Bigfoot was seen in Oklahoma 2 days ago on February 25th, 2026. A family of 3 had this sighting. They were driving near the Washita River at the end of Star Road near Silo, Oklahoma. This is about 11 miles northwest of Durant, Oklahoma. The witnesses were able to see the Sasquatch across the river and through the power line cut, and it was about a distance of 1,530 feet. I also want to point out a special thank you to the BFRO and Matt Moneymaker for getting this information out so quickly from the witness. If you want to look at it yourself, just look up BFRO report 79845. The Bigfoot itself was seen for about 15 seconds, and now here's some details about what they saw. The Bigfoot seemed to be about 7 to 8 feet tall and had darkish brown hair. Now, the interesting thing to me is that the witness points out that there was a reddish tint or a glow to the hair, perhaps in the sunlight. Also, the time that this happened was around 5:30 in the evening. To myself, it's not surprising that this sighting happened here, as it is close to the Lake Tishomingo refuge, which is a pretty active area, and even more so, it's around the same area as Lake Texoma, which, just from what my podcast has taken in, there's a ton of cryptid reports, more than even Bigfoot, that happens in the Lake Texoma area. If you have any more info about this, let me know in the comments or send me a message.
Thanks for the Bigfoot Society for putting that out, that report. I would have liked to see some pictures or videos, but sometimes it happens so fast you don't even may not have a phone or a camera with you. Just it happens. And go from there. This next one I'm going to call Slender Man because I don't really know what else to call it. It's definitely a cryptid video. I'm thinking this could be AI. It's pretty creepy.
What was that?
Thing was hauling ass, whatever it was. I mean, the thing took off. One thing about these, I don't know if they're crawlers or Slender Man creatures, could be like skinwalkers. When they decide to take off, they flat move. Here's another one. These things, man, when they take off, it's like bat out of hell. Here we go.
What the hell?
Man, shout out to Whispers Beneath the Floor on that one, putting that out. Let's see that one more time. That thing took off.
What the hell?
I think I'd probably be heading back to the truck if I see something like that. This one, not sure if this is mistaken identity or like a family of deer, or if they're seeing a cryptid. But I've experienced glowing eyes like this before, but it was always an animal. In my case, I've never ran across a cryptid. I'd like to. We're going to keep looking for them, but I think this could be some deer, family of deer walking by. But it's hard to say just looking at the video, but let's check it out.
I live in the Appalachia and I have a story to tell. It's the year 2024 and I was inside cooking dinner for my family whenever my fiance came inside and asked me to come look at something because he thought he was going crazy. I go out there and he leads me to a group of trees that are at the side of our house, and I'm looking, my gaze is kind of low, and then I look up to my right and I see it looking directly at me. This thing had huge cat-shaped eyes, absolutely glowing in the most greenish bluish color I can begin to think of. There was no light shining in this particular area, so there was no reason as to why those eyes were glowing the way that they were. All you could see was its eyes, the outline of its body, which was human-shaped, yes, human-shaped, and the void of blackness that was inside of its body. At this point, I was freaked out. I was like, yeah, I'm going to fuck back inside, and I left it alone for a while. But my fiance, he did not. He would sit out there with them, and he would come back and tell me stories, and I got curious. So I decided to go out one night by myself. There was not just one of them, not two, not three, more like 7 of them. And they would crouch down into the trees, look at you, go in between the branches, crouch down, look at you, get down on the ground, peek from behind the tree, look at you. They were very, very curious of me. They were about 3 to 4 feet tall, very slim in stature. Like I said, all you could see were their eyes and the outline of their body. That's it. That's all you could see. They never came close enough to you so that you could see what exactly they were. And it was never bright enough outside to be able to see anymore. But those eyes were crazy. They're not out there anymore. Winter passed, and we've both been out there. They're not out there. They're gone. I have not found anything of this nature anywhere. So I just wanted to get on here and share my story with you guys. I actually have quite a bit more stories if you want to hear them too.
Thanks for sharing that. I got my videos confused. I had one that actually showed some eye shine, but it may not have downloaded. That might be one for the next episode. Sound like her and I think it was her husband, and seeing some pretty bright, glowing eyes. It didn't sound like a deer, but the fact that it's gone in the winter tells me it could be like a herd of deer or pack of animals or something. But I no doubt they saw something. So the whole Skinwalker Ranch out in Utah, it's prolific in the range of activity. They've got UFO sightings, they've got paranormal, they've got cryptids, they've got all kind of stuff, and they're labeling it as a precognitive sentient being, which kind of sounds like the reason they're calling it Skinwalker, because maybe it could change it up. But it's kind of interesting article. I think I got one that's on the Bigelow, and the one is the guy after Bigelow, but I can't tell which one this is. But I've got 2 Skinwalker videos this week, so I'm going to play them both. So here
Do
we
you
go.
think this? What do you call this?
Well, those who came before me with the Bigelow team called it a precognitive nonsense. What are they? There's a term. They refer to the phenomena at Skinwalker Ranch as a precognitive, sentient, non-human intelligence.
So there's
an
okay.
intelligence based on the data. There is an intelligence operating on that ranch that has command over space, time, over consciousness, can manipulate closed systems in a split second without leaving a trace, and I believe has the ability to communicate if we can understand or develop a common language at some point to be able to interact. Eric Bard, in particular, has had communication with at least one of these entities involved with manipulating the systems that has command over the technology and the platforms, and has expounded on that a little bit.
Thanks for that from Virgo Meditor. So it sounds like they know there's something there. They think it's basically controlling all kind of different dimensional aspects, time, energy. The other thing that happens is hitchhikers, which is the common thing that could happen when you're on a paranormal investigation. You go to anywhere that's active. Stuff can attach, stuff can follow you home, just like these dolls here. One of these dolls, something could be attached to one and follow me home. So far, nothing tonight. You guys got anything to say for yourself over here? Everybody's watching just in case. My new little Amish family here. You guys, are you guys like from Yoder's? My favorite, one of my favorite restaurants up in Arthur, Illinois. Shout out to Yoder's Amish buffet. If you're ever in that Arthur area of Illinois, they got some good home cooking up there. There's some Amish grocery stores. You can go up there and get all kind of stuff. You just take a cooler. It's a good time. It's a good day. Go down there, just kind of chill out and hang out down there. Anyway, I guess you guys aren't going to do anything. I don't know. We'll see. This next thing, kind of looks like AI, but it's like there's people believe there's actual little creatures like this out there. They believe in fairies, gnomes, trolls, that kind of thing. This kind of follows in that kind of a spiritual, metaphysical realm. And anyway, check these little guys out. I think I'd like to have a couple of these guys running around my yard. They could help me with stuff.
What I'm about to say, in a million years, I would have never thought these words would come out of my mouth. Just letting you know. But apparently there are multiple stories and sightings coming out of Utah, the state where you can have a few wives, but you can't have a cup of coffee, that there have been gnome sightings. I'm sorry, what in the pointy red hat and flying fox are we talking about? Yes, there have been people coming forward out of Utah claiming to have seen gnomes in their backyard. More specifically, a woman came forward and said her and her husband and her son, who's almost 13, have been seeing gnome sightings in their backyard. Now, after doing a little bit of research, these things are actually called duendes. They're like mischievous little elves that will steal children, cut off children's toes, abduct children. Now, obviously, I believe everything in folklore of such stems from some sort of truth. But I'm not here to tell you to believe in gnomes. Take what you will, leave what you won't. But me seeing these stories then tripped and fell down the TikTok gnome rabbit hole. And let me just tell you, it is a fun rabbit hole to go down because these sightings have been happening for centuries now. So tell me what you think. Have you heard of gnome sightings in Utah? Have you went down the gnome rabbit hole? So let's have this conversation today because apparently gnomes are now here.
Shout out to the Ramirez Papachiles or Papachiles, whatever that I can pronounce that correctly. I don't know about them gnomes. I don't know if that was AI or first I thought it was a dog wearing a costume, but then it was on two legs running around. I was like, what is that? Pretty crazy. Utah, gnomes in Utah. It's not a stretch because that's where Skinwalker Ranch is, also where the Blind Frog Ranch is. And a lot of people, I don't know if they realize the Blind Frog and the Skinwalker Ranch aren't that far apart in proximity. I don't know if they're like an hour apart or something like that. I'd have to look it up. But there's a guy I had on the show, Tony Rathman. He was doing the Stratacom, and it's a paranormal device that runs on white energy. It doesn't use radio frequency or EMF or any kind of atmospheric sensors. It runs on white noise. And there's more to it than that. There's some white noise. You got to have certain frequency generators. And I've been wanting to build one, but I haven't been able to get a hold of the right people. But he was going to set up between both ranches, like in between, pick a neutral location and see what he could pick up. Because the thing with the Stratacom, you don't have to be on the location. You can be at your house. You can be in your car, wherever, set up out in a cornfield, and it kind of goes out and picks up stuff in the universe. So, I'm curious to see. I never did see an episode or hear back if he went and did that yet, but that was one thing he was going to do. And he was going to do some other lives. And I think he was going to do something live at like some kind of paranormal convention. But Tony Rathman, if you get a chance to look him up at his Stratacom, some of the evidence he's capturing with that thing is pretty interesting. It's very compelling. It's completely different than other devices. He started out doing spirit boxes with run off radio waves, and he kind of morphed into the white noise, and then this thing is just completely white noise. So it can't be hacked. Anyway, here's some more. Here's my other Skinwalker video.
I got very disturbed toward the end about something that happened to some of the government people. And I realized, holy crap.
Hitchhikers.
Well, yeah. That, and so hitchhikers being that you take things home with you. Everybody took things home with them. I took things to my house. Things happened to my wife and to me, and different things. So everybody took things home. We all, we did, but we didn't know that, gee, it was like going to be kind of permanent. We didn't know that, that it's going to stay with you for maybe for years and years or the rest of your life, who knows. But the ones that bothered me a lot were where anybody got hurt or really disturbed, and not that it happened on the ranch. It was when they left the ranch, as you say, hitchhikers, and these were government people, and affected them.
Very dramatic ways, though.
Very dramatic ways. Very dramatic ways. And there's a cousin to that we're facing. But it's abated at least for now. And this other survival topic, right? Very dramatic kind of things that we wanted to have reduced or stopped. So, but going back to the government people, the buyer came along at the right time. I had decided I wanted to
take this off your plate.
Yeah, take it off my plate, tone it down, and if necessary, just lock it up and forget about it. And next thing I know, the buyer comes along, and the rest is history.
Interested in UAP for sharing that interview. That was pretty interesting. Hitchhikers, they call it paranormal hitchhikers. Attachments. You can get an attachment to you, attachment to an object like your car. You can get attachments like these dolls here. The other thing that's kind of interesting, I've got an EVP. I think I captured that video. Sometimes you'll hear machinery or noises from the past from devices that are no longer there. And so is that like that energy is attached to that location, or that sound is still coming through every so often? It's like a film loop. They call that a residual haunting. Could, like people hear all kind of stuff that isn't there anymore. Over in, I think it's somewhere in Southeast Asia, there's, I think it's called Trunk Lagoon, where there's actually trucks down there. Like in World War II, they sunk some ships. They've had reports of divers going down there and hearing like truck motors running. So that's something we want to get into this year. We want to try to do some underwater paranormal investigating. If anybody's got any hydrophones or know where to get hydrophones or underwater recording equipment, we're looking for some. I was thinking of GoPro Black, but they're really expensive. So we're always trying to find more economical ways of getting equipment. I think it's about time.
I could have used a little more cowbell.
You can never have too much cowbell. Shout out to Christopher Walken and his cowbell. We got our device, the Paramoo, with our cowbells. One of these days, something's going to ring that cowbell, and I'm pretty sure Cammy's going to go run into the truck when that happens. Here's something you can all interact in. Everybody wants to go ghost hunting. Some people can't get out of the house. Some people are just, they're recovering from an operation, or they're disabled, or health reasons, or they just don't feel like getting out. Well, if you got an internet connection, here's something you can do from home. You can paranormal investigate it from home. There's a library up in Evansville, Indiana. I believe it's called the Willard Library. And for years now, they've been seeing this apparition of an elderly lady. They think she was a former librarian, and they call her the Gray Lady, the Lady in Gray. And they have a 24-hour webcam. You can get on there anytime, day or night, and watch. Do your own investigating right from your own living room with a 24-hour live camera and watch for the Lady in Gray. So check this out. This is the Lady in Gray. You guys, this will give you a little insight on if you want to do some investigating from home. So anybody can.
You can watch a real haunted library live. This is Willard Library in Indiana. It has 24/7 ghost cameras anyone can watch. People say a spirit called the Grey Lady has walked the halls since 1937. The cameras refresh every few seconds, and viewers claim they still see her. Would you watch this alone at 3 a.m.?
Absolutely. I've watched it a few times. I haven't seen her yet, but I'd sure like to. I'm going to try to see if I can find some clips. There should be some pictures or some clips maybe on the website of past, captures. But Evansville is only a couple of hours from here, so we may have to make a little trip up there. I don't know if they allow investigations, but it would be cool just to go anyway. Sometimes when we're doing investigations, we will get some kind of funny responses on our equipment, whether it be recorder, if you're doing an EVP, which is electronic voice phenomenon. So basically, if you hear it with your own ears, that's considered a disembodied voice. But if you ask a question, always wait about 15 seconds to allow the spirit or whatever to respond. You may not hear it with your ears, but when you play back that recorder, it'll be on there. There's different types of EVPs. There's Class A, which is very clear. You can understand exactly what they're saying. Class B, you can understand it, but it's more like a whisper. Then there's Class C, which could be some kind of noise or a response that's unintelligible. You don't understand what it is. Could be like machinery or whatever, but anyway, sometimes you get some pretty funny responses. But those are different types of EVPs. They're just class A, B, and C. If anybody ever has questions, let me know. Send a comment, call us. I'll be more than happy to help. I will tell you, for new people investigating, they're just getting into it. Don't expect to get an EVP. It's not like when you watch a TV show, they may have been filming there for weeks and they just cut out all the slack time where there's just nothing, and they get the highlights, and that's what you see on TV. So I was probably out actively investigating just about probably 3 or 4 times a month for about 2 years straight before I got my first EVP, and it was a Class B. It was a whisper, but you could understand it. I had a response. It said hello, which I thought was cool. And I'll tell you, it doesn't happen very often. Don't expect to go out and get EVPs every time you go out. Don't expect for anything to happen. There's a lot of time just sitting in cemeteries waiting for something to happen. But you got to have your batteries charged. You got to have your, you got to rule out all the background noise. Like, okay, was that a bug? Was that a frog? Was that the wind? What was that? So, and you got to make sure all your team, if you're recording, they're not talking, or they're not over here somewhere talking and you can hear them. So there's a lot goes into it, but I can tell you, don't get discouraged. If it's something you're really into, just stick at it, but don't expect to get EVPs every time you go out. It just doesn't happen like that. It's, like I said, all these shows and different programs and stuff, they've edited out all the slack times, and there's a lot of slack times. So anyway, if anybody ever has questions or wants to go out or has questions about equipment or anything like that, or techniques, just give us a shout out. And here's a lady who got a funny response.
I've had some funny ass things said to me over the spirit box before, but I think like one of the top 3 favorites of mine was one time for fun. I was closing out a spirit box session with the SV7 Pro, and I went, "Spirit friends, I've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty." And without skipping a beat, I got, "I don't have a car," over the spirit box, and I lost it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, we've been in some more high profile, popular locations. And if you think about it, if there are spirits there, they're used to hearing the same questions every week. It's like 50 people come through there and look, "What's your name? When did you die? Who are you?" So they're used to hearing the same thing over and over. And I'm thinking, if I was a ghost, I'd probably get tired of it or bored. So we try to throw them different questions, like, "What's your favorite food? Do you like dogs? What's your favorite car? What kind of music do you like?" We just try to break it up to different type of questions. If we're in a cemetery, if I see a stone, I try to read the name, on the stone. Say, "Well, is this Mr. Jones? Is this Mr. Smith? Is this Ernie? Who is this?" And I think if the spirit or someone who's visiting that spirit still hanging around, maybe they'll, you can pick up on something. Okay, we went up here last year up to Boston. We were in Boston, Massachusetts. We took the train over there to Salem, where they had all the witch trials. And if you ever been up there, or if you haven't, it's pretty neat. They've got a little memorial, like a garden there for the ladies. And there was a couple of men too that were tried and convicted and hung. And they hung a lot of them. One guy they put in a cider press, cranked it down, put his head in there. Really sad what happened. And years later, they found out that maybe there was something in the water. Maybe they ate some mushrooms. They might have just been hallucinating, and they thought they were witches or whatever. And a lot of innocent people were killed. And we just had the anniversary, so there's part of this video shows part of the memorial, which it's like a wall, goes around a U shape, and every so often one of the stones in a wall is like flat and it sticks out of the wall like a shelf, and that's where they put their memorial, their name, the date they died, and how they were put to death. And so that's what you're going to see here, a little bit of that. There was a couple other memorials there too. I didn't get to see all those when we were up there. Salem's it's not a small town, but it's the area where all the witch memorials and the cemetery and a lot of that kind of stuff. That's all kind of condensed in the downtown area. So you can go up there with a few hours, walk around and see everything. Now you may have to wait in line to go to the cemetery or see the memorial, but it's if you're into that kind of thing, paranormal stuff, if you're into wanting to learn about our history and some of the things that happened, it's a pretty neat place to go. I recommend going to Boston and taking the train over on a weekend. It's $10 for the train for the pass. You go over there, and because typically there's nowhere to park at Salem. It's a lot of people go there, especially in the fall when you get more toward Halloween. We went in September; it was already getting pretty busy, so that'd be my recommendation. Stay in Boston and take the train over. Okay, this here is a lake, and I believe the town was flooded, and there's these stories where, like, if you lose a watch or you lose your boat anchor, like a year or two later, it shows back up on the beach. And I was watching this video, and I couldn't catch the name of the lake. I don't know if you got. We'll watch it here and see what you think. But I'd really like to know where this lake is, or if anybody's heard of this, or if it's just a made-up story. But I thought it was interesting, so I'm going to post it here and see what you guys think. But it'd be really cool to find out if this is a real lake and where is it.
There's a lake in the south that people don't swim in anymore. Not because it's polluted, not because it's deep, because of what washes back up. Locals say anything lost in that water eventually returns to shore. Not quickly, not predictably, but it comes back. Old fishing gear shows up years later. Watches lost decades ago surface in the mud. One man swore a boat anchor he dropped in the 70s appeared again near the dock after a storm. Most call it coincidence, but the stories that stick are different. People claim objects come back worn in strange ways. Wood feels brittle. Metal comes back pitted, like it sat somewhere older than the lake itself. One fisherman said he lost his hat there as a kid. When it washed up years later, the inside was dry, like it had never touched water at all. Locals say the lake doesn't keep things. It just holds them until it decides to give them back. So if something you lost suddenly appeared on the shore, are you picking it up or leaving it where it surfaced?
That'd be pretty cool. I know I've lost a few fishing lures I'd like to get back. And I think we lost one. We have a net we used to pull behind the boat to get bait. I lost that up in Clinton Lake up there by the Route 48 bridge. If anybody finds a shed net up there, I lost one night. And I had another buddy of mine lost an anchor. He forgot to tie it on and threw it over. Maybe if it was in this lake, it would show back up. If anybody knows the name of that lake or has heard of that place, let us know. Give us a shout out. We're getting into our paranormal stuff now. This guy's got some poltergeist stuff going on. It's pretty wild.
In this video, a guy witnesses strange voices.
That's all you can do.
And then this happens.
You know I have the power and the protection of God with me. So you can't do anything else to me, can you? You can close doors, you can make noises, you can move the chandelier. What's that? Alright, I'll go back in this room. So my camera usually shuts off. Who are you? Who are you?
I wish I'd have kept going. That guy kind of sounded like he had a Romanian accent to me. I'm not sure where that was at, but at the end I saw a knife, like a knife was like levitating there. That's pretty scary if it was real. I don't know if it's, we never know nowadays unless somebody tells me for sure it's real, or if I can video it myself, I'll know. But could have been some AI stuff going on, but the way he was kind of going around talking about the camera shutting off and stuff sounded kind of legit. So I don't know. We'll see. This is another video where a guy is kind of like trying to confront something in his house. It's very similar to the last one, but I believe this is a different
This dude
video.
was ready to face off against demons with the damn Bible, a cross, and holy water. What he ends up catching on camera is straight out of a freaking horror movie. What in the world do you think this thing could possibly be? Rate this pants-shittingly terrifying video down below in the comments.
Dog is crying like that because there's something like disturbing everybody. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, I ask everything in this house to leave my house this instant. The dog seems more quiet now. Ah! In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, I ask you to leave this house now. I ask you to leave.
Whoa. What the hell was that? Let's hit pause and rewind that craziness. Give me a second look at that, damn it. Looks like someone or something moves behind the door. Look closely.
Leave this house!
When he goes in, nobody is in there.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, I ask you to leave this house.
Thanks to Paranormal Inside 77 for that.
This dude was ready to face off against demons with the damn Bible, a cross, and holy water. What he ends up catching on camera is straight out of a freaking horror movie.
Paranormal Horizons, I'm sorry. I don't know if that was legit. That's pretty scary. If you're dealing with some kind of entity like that, they may run like they'll mess with you, like run around from one room to another, and that's why if you have something really bad in a house, you want to basically try to. You can't just go in one room. You have to have the right people there. Someone from the clergy, like someone like Bishop Long out of Louisville, would doing a house cleansing, blessing, maybe even an exorcism if it comes to that, or someone like my friend Bruce up in Indiana. Shout out to Bruce. He's part of a deliverance ministry, and they do like a deliverance ceremony. Like if you have an attachment to you or your house. The thing is, if you have something like that going on, you can't just bless the house or cleanse the house. You have to cleanse everybody. And if you go on an investigation, you got no activity at all night before you go home. Getting back to the hitchhiker thing, you want to make sure you cleanse yourself. Do a cleansing prayer, like a removal, deliverance type prayer on you, yourself, your team. Some people use sage. Some people do Palo Santos. But the main thing is the intent needs to be, made known. Like, you can't come home with us. You can't come with us. So, and sometimes you don't want to tell them they got to stay there because you might be at somebody's house they're wanting it gone, and you don't want to say, well, you can stay here because they may want it gone, but you definitely don't want it coming home with you. So that's the thing when you get into that situation like that. Holy water helps, anointing oil, but the person making the holy water, the anointing oil, has to be ordained. If you go on the Christian side, the deliverance ministry, the person doing it has to be baptized. All the people that are helping him with the prayer should be baptized. And I've been on a couple of these. They pray over the home and the person, that's experiencing everything. Then before you leave, you have to do your whole team. And I've talked to some guys that they did the cleansing. They cleansed the person, they cleansed their team, but they forgot to cleanse themselves. And when they got home, they had trouble. And they had to start the whole ceremony all over again at their own home. It followed them home. So these things can jump from one person to the next. So you got to be, pretty solid in your beliefs. And, if you're feeling kind of vulnerable or depressed or having some anxiety, maybe you shouldn't go on an investigation, or definitely not go to a house where they're having any kind of, bad stuff going on. So you just got to protect yourself out there. It's not for everybody. There's physical dangers and there's other stuff that can happen. There's stuff you can't even see. This one here was pretty interesting. I couldn't tell if this was AI or a shadow of an actual creature, or if this was just, a capture of evidence.
This could possibly be one of the creepiest videos of a shadow person that I've ever seen. It's arguably one of the most common ways that entities will manifest, just as shadow people. And that may not sound too scary. I don't know if you've ever seen a shadow person or not, but I promise you, if you've seen what this person did, it would be scary. I have seen many over the years of doing paranormal investigations, and while they're scary and creepy, I've never encountered one quite like this person did. And to make things even worse, it happened in one of their bedrooms, which is supposed to be where you're supposed to relax, you're supposed to unwind. And I don't know that I could ever unwind again if I seen this in my bedroom.
Okay, there he is in the window again. Went under the bed. Okay, there he is in the window again. Went under the bed.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say that was a shadow creature image of a monkey. It kind of looked like a monkey hanging there jumping down, but definitely a shadow. Yeah, I've never seen nothing like that either. Sometimes you'll see something and it's like you can't believe you're seeing it, or you think about it, you sit down about a minute later and you go like, did I just see? It doesn't always hit you right when you're seeing it because your brain's trying to process something it's not used to seeing. This is a really cool looking place. I'd like to go and check this out. It used to be like a farm, and then they took I think part of the milk house, they made it into the house, and the barn is now an old a book barn, which there's one up, I think it's still up in Forsyth, Illinois. I used to go up there and get the Troy Taylor books, one of my favorite authors. He does a paranormal convention over in Alton, Illinois, every year. And he's got a place downtown Alton there with like oddities. He's got all kind of true crime stuff. He's got stuff from funeral homes, different, macabre type things. It's pretty cool if you ever get a chance to go over there. Anyway, he started out, I remember buying his books at the book barn. And he started doing those bus trips up to Decatur. They're all around haunted Decatur. Then he did haunted Alton and haunted Illinois. Now, I think I don't even know how many books he has right now. I just got one of his new ones when I was over there in Alton a while back for a wedding. Had a couple weddings this year. My cousins, they're all getting married on me. But it was pretty cool. Yeah, shout out to Brittany and Lindsay if you guys are watching. Hope your honeymoon went okay. Hope everything's cool. Anyway, the book barn.
The haunted Baldwin's Book Barn is a historic barn turned used bookstore located in Westchester, Pennsylvania. It has over 300,000 books, including rare, vintage, and out-of-print titles. It is the country's largest used bookstore. It was originally built in 1822 by Quakers Britton and Sarah Darlington as a dairy farm. The Baldwin family bought it in 1946 and converted the milking house into a residence and the barn into a 5-story used bookstore. This magical place filled with books, a crackling wood stove, and creaky floors is home to some spirits it has picked up along its way. Carol Rausch, longtime manager, believes it is haunted. Though she has never seen a ghost, she has experienced evidence of paranormal activity throughout her time here. The Downingtown Paranormal Society investigated the barn and identified 3 spirits, 2 male and 1 female. They believe the female spirit is that of the original owner, Sarah Darlington. Carroll has also stated that Tom Baldwin believes one of the males is his father, William, the original owner of the book barn. The other male is said to only be seen by patrons and never staff. It is that of an old Quaker man sitting in one of the many chairs reading. Staff all confirm it's haunted, but they never feel scared. The spirits of the book barn just want to exist peacefully. So grab a book, pull up a chair, and read with the spirits of Baldwin's Book Barn.
I do enjoy a good book barn. I don't know if we have any around here. Over here in Bowling Green, we do have the Half Price Books. I've been in there a couple times. I like that place. I'm just into old books and stuff like that. But yeah, I think the one in Forsyth, Illinois, is still going. Troy Taylor, you can get his books off. I think he's got it on his website or in his store. The Macabre Museum is kind of like a store in there too. They got all kind of cool merch. But it's time to switch over to the UAP, UFO, alien portion of the show here. I still call them UFOs. I can't get into the UAP thing. The USO kind of makes sense, like the ones in the ocean, the underwater, unidentified submersible object. And the thing comes out of the water, they go underwater. Who knows if they got bases down there or whatever. USO, UFO, UAP. It's all very similar, but this is going to tie into a few things. But lately in the news, we just had the stuff going on in the Middle East with the military over in Iran and Israel and a lot of the other the Gulf Coast countries over there, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. They're all kind of getting involved now. It's turning into a bigger conflict and a mess. And there's some paranormal, UFO, supernatural stuff going on with this too. So this guy actually has I've heard of this thing before, and there's been a couple different clips on it. I don't know if it's the same guy or if it's made up, but he's got this ball that supposedly it dropped out of the sky, and it's, I don't know if there's movies, they've made fiction movies like this before where they find a ball and they start messing with it, and it opens up, and Pandora's box opens up. Kind of along those kind of lines. Here we go.
Okay, this is crazy. Watch this. Just so you see it, right here, that's a symbol on this thing. Watch this. Look at that. Look at that.
How is that even possible?
I don't know, but that's freaking awesome. And in the middle of the eye is like so beautiful, dude.
Either that's some kind of alien ball or one fancy bowling ball. I'm not sure on that. It was pretty cool. And then this guy's seeing a pink orb, and it almost looks like a comet to me, but it's pink. And I'm wondering if it's some kind of NASA launch or something, because they look kind of weird like this too. But I just thought this was pretty cool.
Incredible thing. There's a bright orb running the length of my pond, and it has a tail on it. My Lord, thank you for this. My voice is shaking. You're not going to believe this video. I'm 24 seconds in. Now it's responding to our conversation, guys, and this is amazing, I'm telling you. It has an aura around this orb, a tail. It's shaped like a V, and it's very big, and it's orange, pinkish orange. It's still meandering down the length of my pond. I mean, this is incredible. This is something very touching, connected to your loss in your daughter. This very well could be a sign for you, Jim. This is amazing. I'm telling you, you're not going to believe this when I share it with you, David, both of you. We're talking amazing. I mean, I I can't explain what I'm looking at.
Thanks from Source Energy One for that. Yeah, it looked kind of like a pink comet, or like a pink, orangish pink comet to me. I don't know if it's supernatural or biblical or anything like that. It looked a lot like a comet, but normally they're not moving like that fast and that big. And most time a comet, they're really hard to see, and they're not moving like that. So I don't know. Pretty interesting. I'm wondering if it's some kind of space launch or something coming in to our atmosphere or something going out. I'm not sure, but we're going to get into this Middle East conflict here with the orbs. Since this just happened this week, this is definitely very recent phenomenon. This is the most up-to-date stuff I could find. So I've got several videos here. So some of them tie into the biblical prophecy side of it, and they're seeing some orbs and things that don't make sense. I wonder if it's misidentification. Maybe these are drones coming in. Not everything moves like a rocket. It could be drones, could be surveillance. When you got a military operation going on, there's probably all kind of equipment flying around. So without further ado, we're going to froze up. My mouse froze up. Come on, here we go. Something happened.
این چیه تو آسمون؟ چه جالب داره میدرخشه. نه ستاره است نه چیزی. من داره حرکت میکنه. حالا همچین چیزی ندیدم من. البته این چند وقته آسمون شهرمون ای بابا چرا خوب نشون نمیده. با چشم واضح است و البته کم نور شد.
Interesting. I don't know if anybody understands what language he was speaking. That'd be pretty cool if somebody could comment or give us a call or chime in, send us a message. Here we go.
It's like she said in 2012. I hadn't thought about it since then. She brought it up. She said, when you see the missiles leaving Iran and Israel for each other, when you see them, and I could see in the vision the missiles coming from either direction. She said, when you see this sign will be the sign that we're going to start coming into this world, and we're going to wake the people up, and we're going to stop this before it gets too far. We're not going to let the suffering of man become too great. And she said, on top of that, we're going to make miracles happen. We're going to expose all the darkness and the evil that's happening, the deception, she called it the deception, and bring about peace.
Wow.
And she told me that in 2019. And so I wrote that in my book. I said, when you see Iran and Israel begin to exchange missiles, then the phenomenon is going to come in and awaken humanity, and you're not going to do anything about it. You can tell the powers that be that they're going to come in and stop it. Carl said, oh my God, that would be catastrophic disclosure. I said, well, you need. I've been saying the whole time that these orbs are going to come and wake us up. And I even gave specific times that when that might happen, and that's when you see war between Israel and Iran. I put that in the book. So what Bertie was saying about their alarm, they are really alarmed. The orbs, to me, they're angels to me.
They're biblical, just like you said, Jim. They're magical beings. They don't breed like humans. They were created. They listen to our thoughts. I interact with them every day of my life and have literally tens of thousands of bits of data and information from them. And when I interact with them, they're speaking to me. How do you get them to come? Because they listen to me and they send information. So I knew this time was coming. I know a lot about drones because I'm a drone pilot and I'm also a commercial pilot. And I can tell you there's a Remote ID Act that was passed by the federal government that says all toy airplanes, even models, if it's a half a pound or more, it has to have, it's got to be 0.55 pounds, just a little more than a half. You have to have a transponder on them to fly toy airplanes. So none of these are civilians. For one, civilian drones can't see in the dark unless it's got a FLIR camera, and that would usually be the fire departments or whatever. Also, I do know that a friend of mine in New Jersey called me, told me that he filmed the drone, one of these drones, minivan-sized drones, fly over his house. He's shown a laser on it, and in 30 minutes, the FBI knocked on his door and said, "We know you did it, and if you do it again, we'll put you in jail." Yesterday, I was called by someone in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, that there was one of those same drones running a grid over Chapel Hill with a Black Hawk helicopter right behind it with its lights out. So yeah, the military, whatever they're doing, the drones, the orbs are coming on high alert. It's just like the Foo Fighters in World War II. When the fighters were going into Germany, these orbs were beside them. So it's just my opinion that the orbs are on high alert, that whatever the drones are doing, I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're looking for something, sniffing for nuclear material. That would clearly explain why the orbs are coming in great numbers. And they're not going to stop. They're going to keep coming until everyone understands that we're not alone.
Shout out. I think his book's called UFOs and God, if I was reading that correctly. My camera froze up in the middle of all that and died. I don't know, started talking about Iran and man, we're getting hacked, you know. Are these guys, are you guys doing that? You mess with my camera? No comment from the peanut gallery over here. Okay, I got a couple more of these orb videos. There's a lot of orb videos this week coming in from just from this recent military action.
Okay, update y'all. There's no siren going on right now, and yet there's these things in the sky blowing up. Pretty sure they're either missiles or drones. Either way, we've seen them blow up in the sky, multiple of them, very, very close to us actually. So I was just saying that it was very quiet, and it's not quiet.
We're seeing them like blowing up in the sky.
We're not really sure what it is, but I'll put the video here and you guys can see. Jesus Christ! Look! Over there! Oh my God!
Not clear enough. My phone's not fucking focusing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not a star. If anybody would like to tell me what that is, please let me know. Please let me know.
But usually it's like a couple of them.
No, that's definitely
No!
Oh shit! Oh, wait!
Yo, there's loads of them, bro.
Wait! Look! Those are drones. I think those are drones. Bro. I think those are freaking drones, bro. Bro, I think those are drones.
Just boom in the air.
No, boom!
They're going up.
Yep. No, these are
Look
not.
at the smoke all there now where that one just
Yeah.
moved over there.
No, these are the drones. These are drones.
Yo,
They were sending drones.
Right now?
They were sending drones, and I'm literally finna, what, oh my goodness. Oh my God, wait, did y'all? I think my camera just got that. Hold on. I gotta go back and look.
Yeah.
You saw it? Yes, I think I did. Oh my God, oh shit, oh shit. Guys, what the fuck? Oh my God. Come on. Oh my God, stop.
Destiny, that's right near us, bro. What the fuck?
Oh my God.
Bro.
Holy sh.
This is right near us. Why is there no siren right now?
Why the hell?
Yo, what the fuck?
So the siren just went off real late. So we're gonna go into the bunker now. And this is like not funny at all, but I'm really scared. So, ooh, shit. Why was the siren not going?
And then do your videos?
Oh
Because it was Israel shooting, so it's not.
Thanks to UAP Global for posting that. They seem pretty excited, very passionate. I can't imagine being there when all this is going on. We get a tornado over here. It's pretty scary. I can't imagine having drones flying all around, stuff blowing up. Prayers go out to everybody over there. Stay safe. I got one more video. And this is some more orb stuff going on.
Orb UFOs are being seen off the coast of Iran and inland as well. Check this out. Since the conflict began, orb UFOs have been reported and it's only increasing from the oceans and inland. And here's one instance here. Now, Chris Bledsoe, a little while ago, said that he had a visitation or a premonition that when the war began between Israel and Iran, missiles will exchange. Orbs will be seen all over the place, right? Check this out.
One thing she told me was, when you see Iran and Israel exchanging missiles, and I saw it, the way she tells me is a vision of, I see it like a living picture screen. I could see the rockets flying. Then all of a sudden, orbs appeared out of the ocean and everywhere. And I told the government, if this happens, the orb's going to appear and wake people up and stop it. That's what she told me.
Now, as this conflict evolves, is this an actual premonition? Is this something that's actually going to happen? And there's also reports happening from within Tel Aviv in Israel of strange stuff happening in the skies during missile interceptions and things of that nature. So it's a very strange coincidence. Chris Bledsoe has had some pretty wild premonitions and predictions that he's saying. Also with the one coming up in Easter with the Sphinx's gaze on the Red Star Regulus as well. So there's a lot of things that seem to be kind of making a little bit of sense, mate. It's all a little bit crazy right now, people. Let me know down.
Thanks to shout out there Interstellar Discussion and Chris Bledsoe. I think he's like a medium, psychic medium. Some premonitions and some stuff going on around Easter with the Sphinx. I'm gonna have to research that. Maybe we'll have some details on that next week. But I think my team's overdue to go out on an investigation. It's just we're waiting for the weather to break. It's finally breaking, so maybe here in the next week or so. So we're going to go out and try to do a live, if possible. One of the areas we're going to, we don't know if we're really even going to be able to get a signal out there. So we may just post some stuff afterwards. But I appreciate everybody tuning in this week. Like I said, prayers go out to our military, all the people over there in the Middle East, the innocent people caught in the crossfire, and try to get through this week. And appreciate everybody tuning in, and hope we'll see you next time. Come on.